Hi, I'm Peter Nixon. I'm the Managing Director for Philip Morris. We sell Marlboro, Chesterfield and IQOS. The ban on menthol, because there's not really flavoured cigarettes, menthol really is what's going to be the biggest affected product in May 20th of next year. It's going to be a massive impact for retailers. If we look at it, there's about £2 billion worth of value of menthol in the market. And obviously for independent retail, that's a big part of their business. And so that going away next year, what we're not seeing is, in all our studies, we're not seeing that smokers will quit smoking. We're seeing that all our numbers show us about 25% of smokers will continue to just buy their own brand, but in the non-menthol variant. 75% will look for something else. And so what we're going to be doing next year as of May is bringing IQOS into independent trade, as actually selling of the devices and bringing IQOS, because IQOS is exempt from the ban. So mentholated heats are exempt from the menthol ban. So it will be the only mentholated tobacco product you'll be able to sell as of May 20 next year. Therefore, we think it's really important to have independent retail have that opportunity, as there's another option for that 75% of people who will be looking around for alternatives at that point. But IQOS is a very good one. Because what we've seen in our numbers is that when we've researched, as I said, 25% of people say that they're going to just switch to the non-menthol variant. And when we show the smokers IQOS, 51% said they would buy IQOS. The awareness is still relatively low of IQOS, but when we show it to them and they try the product, they say, well, over a half said, I would definitely buy this, versus 20% would say they'd buy vaping products. For retailers, they have to be a bit careful when they listen to manufacturers, a bit like myself, because a lot of manufacturers will say, just buy my vape, have that menthol ban, and you'll be okay. That is not the case, right? Retailers need a broad range of products. We know from the numbers, 20% of smokers say they'll probably try a vape, the menthol smokers. But 51% say they'll use an IQOS. But it doesn't mean just sell IQOS. Sell a broad range, you know? Have that broad range, be ready for it. And I think that's, many retailers aren't ready to have that discussion at the moment of, I don't have menthol, but I have this product and I have a vape, depends what you like. Have that sort of consultation, but it's going to need to be out on May 20th across the country, right? So it's preparing for that. Not just having a, I mean, you talk about closed systems and a pod system. It's not just pod systems. I think retailers need a broad range to meet all the needs of their consumers. That's the right way to go. Retailers should have a broad range. You know, they should serve all their consumers, all potential consumers. And in this situation, most menthol smokers don't know what they want yet. They know they want menthol cigarettes. They're not going to be able to buy them. So having a broad range is important. Now we're at a stage where we want to go into a broader retail. So, and that has largely been brought about by the menthol ban, with 1.3 million people walking through the door and asking for a menthol product. And this being the only menthol product available, we want to be everywhere where a smoker can be asking for a menthol product. And retailers saying, well, I have one, it's this one, this is the only one I've got. So we want to provide retailers with the opportunity. Up to now, we've been worried because selling IQOS, you have to explain it a little bit. And it's not really been easy for many retailers to explain what it is. So we've come up with technology now which can help educate retailers digitally, and we've come up with technology which can help them sell the product as well. So we'll be releasing that before the menthol ban, but it really will help the retailer with the sale of the product to somebody. And then we can, basically by registering a consumer, we can follow up with the consumer and answer any questions they've got on the product, gives them the warranty, gives them the aftercare support. And I think the key thing about independent trade, now of course the big key accounts are important as well, independent trade, but the difference between independent trade and big key accounts is independent trade has a relationship with their consumer. They have a discussion, and they're an educated discussion with somebody. It's not a part-time member of staff who doesn't know much about many categories. They know everything about their stores, they know about their customers, and when they know about their products, they can give an amazing piece of experience for the consumer. So that's why they're so important, not just for us, but for consumers as well. People trust what their local retailer tells them, and so that's why, for me, it's a really important channel as we go forwards. Technology has meant it's been very difficult for us to sell through the independent trade up to now because we require registration on the sale. We require a consumer. We want to know they're an adult, we want to know they're a smoker, and we want to confirm those facts. So we need registration, whereas that's never really been easy in independent trade. But technology now helps us to do that. So with menthol, that will really be the launch plan to really broaden our reach across the UK. If we look globally, heat not burn is already much bigger than vaping. So if you look globally, if you look at the retail value of all alternatives to cigarettes, you can group heat not burn and vaping in that group. It's about $18 billion in terms of retail value. And heat not burn has 70% of that globally. So heat not burn, and IQOS has 55% of that. So we're already $10 billion globally. Already the biggest, which kind of supports your hypothesis that heat not burn has more potential than vaping. And it's already bigger. And I think that's not commonly known. People think that, vaping's much bigger than heat not burn. Maybe in the UK at the moment it is, but globally, vaping is only 30% of the alternatives market. Heat not burn is much bigger. And I think fundamentally because the heat not burn delivers better nicotine and closer flavour to what a smoker wants, which is the tobacco flavour. And vaping has been really good, don't get me wrong. I mean, lots of people have used it and it's helped them to get off cigarettes. But nearly everyone in the UK who smokes has tried a vape at one point. And everyone who smokes has decided they still prefer their cigarette. And that's like 7 million people. And I believe they are the ones why heat not burn will be bigger than vaping at one point, in the UK as well, just because it has closer satisfaction for the smoker, So, and that's why we see that 70% of the people who try heat not burn stop smoking completely. But a vape, it's like 20%. I said, don't get me wrong, vaping is great. It's really helped many people. But 70-80% of the people it hasn't worked for. And those are the ones where I believe heat not burn is the solution. Because it's so close to, it's as close as you can get without actually smoking a cigarette. And actually, most people who switch to heat not burn prefer the tobacco flavour than a cigarette flavour.
It's interesting.
I really don't know. But heated tobacco will be a major category in the UK. This will be a major category. I mean, when 51% of people, the menthol smokers, say they will definitely buy this product, it's a big opportunity. So I have no doubt one day there will be competition. When it's going to come, I don't know. But look, our research shows that when you heat rather than burning, you reduce the chemicals by 90 to 95%.
Right.
And so, which is broadly similar to vaping in reality. So, because you take away the burning, the problem with cigarettes is because you burn them, that's what releases all the harmful chemicals. You take away that burning, you take away that combustion, and it significantly reduces those harmful chemicals. We see vaping, it depends a bit on the product, because there's a broad range of products, but they're all sort of in the 99% range for most of the harmful chemicals. So they're broadly similar, I would say, heat not burn and vaping.
That's it.
We do so much science. I mean, we've just finished a 6-month clinical study. I don't think anyone else has done that level for other products, which we've done for IQOS. And it shows a significant reduction and a change in the smoker's body when they switch to IQOS, which points to a significant reduction in risk. And so science is the key here. And I think that's a lot of the confusion about the vaping markets. People are saying, well, what's in these products and can I really trust them? Actually, in the UK, we have quite strict rules about what goes into vaping products, not just for companies like Philip Morris, but for all companies. And I think that's been the problem in the States. The stuff's been bought on the black market. It's not gone through the rigorous testing which we need in the UK. So, but IQOS and all products as we go forwards, science will be a key thing because proving the reduced risk aspect of it is critical. And that's why in the US, we've had IQOS now approved to be sold. Been approved by the FDA, which took us about 2 years, and I think 3 million pages of a submission, which no one else has been through that process. No vapor's yet gone through the FDA process, but they'll have to soon. So that's kind of the burden of proof which you now need, and now we've gone through that in the States. And you have to prove the reduced risk properties of the product. Like e-cigarettes can advertise in different places. They can communicate in buses and billboards and all these places. I'm not saying I want to, but they can do advertising, and IQOS can't. So it's very difficult to raise the awareness of IQOS without, like for example, what I'd love to do is to put inserts into cigarette packs, to say to my Marlboro and Chesterfield smokers, why not switch to IQOS? I can't even do that.
That's insanity.
It's ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
I can't even do that. So there's so many regulations at the moment, and I understand they're made for cigarettes, so I get that, and they just need to be unpicked, and that just takes time. I'm sure it will happen, but the quicker we can do that, the quicker we can save 1 million lives, and however many. I mean, there's 7 million smokers still in the UK. We forget that. It's still the biggest preventable cause of death in the UK.
Yeah.
So it's barely talked about. It's not even in the manifesto of any of the major parties. What we didn't have 10 years ago was we didn't have the products which could help the smokers. So for 30 years or 50 years we've been saying to people, don't smoke, don't smoke, don't smoke. And that's fine. We should continue to do that. But we didn't have products which they could then they'd want to use and enjoy. Now we have products which they can switch to, which are less harmful, but they still get enjoyment from. This is the time when we can absolutely accelerate it. And that's how you can get to that 2030 date. But you have to really push hard smokers to incentivize them to move across. We can make it, but it requires a concern from media, manufacturers, and from the government, and the NHS and non-governmental stakeholders all working together.